Namaste, friends. Let us start our wisdom sharing session. Last week, we heard about Goenkaji's view on what the ultimate aim of observing our breath is. This week, we are going to look at his view on what actually starts happening when we start observing our breath. We are asked to observe our breath, but what all of us end up doing is that we start observing our mind. Nobody has told us to observe our mind, but unintentionally, we start observing our mind. What happens is we start noticing what kind of a mind we are carrying. You are asked to observe your breath. You observe hardly any breath, and the mind wanders off. And after a long time, you realize that it has actually gone off somewhere else. You realize, I'm here to observe my breath. And again, you bring your mind back to the breath. Just after one or two breaths, it goes off somewhere else again. And you realize and you bring it back. And shortly thereafter, you find that this mind is wandering again. And then it is at this time we realize that what a flickering mind it is. And we become agitated. What kind of mind am I carrying? It cannot do this simple task, which is just to observe the breath. This isn't a breathing exercise that you can get fatigued. You know what you must do, and still the mind does not allow you to do this easy job. And because of this, you feel very frustrated. You generate agitation, irritation. Oh no, if this happens, then we are not doing the technique properly. We are going against the technique. This is the habit pattern of the mind. When something unwanted happens, we react. We react with irritation, with agitation, with negativity. And this is what we have started doing now. You want the mind to concentrate and look. It does not concentrate. So we start reacting. However, what the technique wants us to do is just to accept the result that the mind has wandered. The technique is not asking us to react. The technique is asking us just to accept the result. Readily, smilingly, accept the result and bring it back to the breath. You come back to the breath and again it wanders away. Again you bring it back to the breath. Very soon you will realize that as soon as you accept the fact that the mind has wandered away, you won't have to pull it back to the breath. It will come back automatically. You just accept the fact that the mind has wandered away. This is enough. By practice, it will come back to the breath. The nature of the mind is such that it keeps on wandering. It is a fleeting mind, a flickering mind, a wandering mind. Now, where does it wander to? Oh, there are so many objects. Even if we were able to keep a diary, it is not possible for anyone to keep a diary of where it wandered every moment. Carefully, when we investigate, we find there are only two fields for this mind, and that is under the field of memories, which is past, or the field of the future. A memory will arise in your mind, this memory or that memory. It so happened, or so-and-so insulted me in the past. So-and-so abused me. At that time, I didn't know what to do. Now, if this fellow insults me again, I will retort like this. I will reply like this. And you start rolling from the past into the future, and you keep on rolling in the future again. Certainly, a thought of the past comes, and they start rolling again in the past. You jump to the future, you keep rolling in the future. For us to understand, this is the habit pattern of the mind. It keeps on rolling in the past and in the future. It does not want to live in the present. It does not want to live in the present, and one actually has to live in the present. How can we live in the past? The past is gone forever. You cannot buy back the moment that has gone away. Even if we give millions of dollars in the world, it is impossible because it is gone forever. And the future is future. Unless it becomes the present, you can't live in it. You have to live in the present. And the mind does not want to live in the present. And that is the reason why the mind remains so agitated. It does not know the art of living. And this whole technique teaches you the art of living, how to live in the present moment. Even a few moments that we get, when you are with the breath, this is the moment. The reality of this moment, the breath coming in and the breath going out. And all other moments when we are rolling in the past or the future was the result of the habit pattern of the mind. Another reality will become clearer as we meditate. The mind, it wanders in the past. It wanders in the future. But what kind of thoughts do we get? Again, two kinds of thoughts, two kinds of patterns. One is pleasant and the other one is unpleasant. When it wanders in the past, memories, the memory may be a pleasant memory or an unpleasant memory. When it wanders in the future, the thought of the future may be pleasant or unpleasant. So either it is pleasant or unpleasant. Then you will notice when it starts wandering in something pleasant of the past or the future, then a part of the mind starts reacting. I like it. Ah, this is wonderful. This should happen again and again. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. This liking turns into a craving, and the craving turns into clinging. And you don't realize, but you have lost the balance of our mind. You become unbalanced, you become miserable because you started craving, you started clinging. Similarly, when the mind starts wandering in a thought, unpleasant of the past or the future, you will notice a part of the mind will start reacting. I don't like this. I don't like it. And very soon it turns into an ocean of hatred. And again, you notice that you've lost the balance of the mind and you have become very agitated. This is the present behavior pattern of the mind. It keeps on reacting, craving, clinging, or aversion and hatred. So all the time, the mind is craving, aversion, craving, aversion. Therefore, all the time, the mind is agitated. So the question now arises is, why this craving and this aversion? It is because one does not know what is happening deep inside our minds. The surface level of the mind remains busy with outside objects, and one does not know the depth of the mind where craving arises, where aversion arises, where agitation arises, where misery arises. This is what we call ignorance, or in Hindi we call moha. The mind is so ignorant that at times you will notice that a thought arises in the mind, past or future, it does not matter. Pleasant or unpleasant, it doesn't matter. A thought arises because of a reason. And even before a sentence is finished, another thought arises. And then another thought, irrelevant thoughts. There is no sequence of thoughts. This is madness. What else can madness be? When someone says this person is mad or this person is insane, because this person has no sequence of thoughts. Let me give an example of an insane person. Someone is hungry from the last 4 days. You feel compassionate and you offer him a plate full of food. He feels very happy. He sits down because he is hungry. He just takes the first morsel of food. And before this morsel reaches the mouth, his thought pattern has changed. Now he starts thinking, I'm in a bathroom. I've got a soap in my hand and I'm rubbing it on my body. Before that thought finishes, the third thought comes in. Oh, this person has come. He's my enemy. He has come to kill me. And before he kills me, let me kill him. What should I do? He thinks he's got some grenades in his hand, and then he throws those grenades at him. And he says, if I throw them at him, he will be dead. In this thought pattern, he actually throws away the plate of food. So this is a mad person, an insane person, as he has got no sequence of thoughts. Everyone will realize how insane each of us are. We have not got a proper sequence of thoughts. One thing starts and suddenly something else will start. And suddenly something totally different will start. This is madness. This is ignorance. There is no sequence in thought. Well, even if there is a sequence in thought, you don't know how you are generating negativity in your mind, how you are generating the misery. This becomes clearer and clearer at the experiential level as we go deeper and deeper in the interaction with the mind and the matter. The more we meditate, the more we observe our breath, the more we do the technique as it is intended, then work becomes easy. Let us think about it. We are leaving everything aside and meditating, let's say for an hour in the morning or an hour in the evening. So therefore, it is very important to understand what this breath is all about. What is this body and what is this mind? This very important purpose which helps us to learn the art of living, the art of living peacefully and harmoniously, peace and harmony within, and how to generate nothing but peace and harmony for others. When we generate negativity and become miserable, we start throwing this misery onto others. You can make the entire atmosphere around you so tense that anyone who comes in contact with you at that time becomes tense, becomes miserable. This is not the proper way of life. The heart of life is missing. This technique teaches us the art of life, a proper way of life, a code of conduct, how to live peacefully and harmoniously within, and how to generate nothing but peace and harmony for others. This is possible only when we explore the truth of nature, the present nature of our own mind and matter, the nature of the law of universe and all that has to be experienced. We will start finding a change is coming within us, a change for better, for which we have to work hard. One important thing is that this is a serious job. This is what Goenkaji is telling us. This is a serious job that we are doing. It is actually a deep surgical operation of the mind. When we do a deep surgical operation, very deep-rooted complexes will start coming to the surface. When we cut open the wound, the pus starts coming on the surface. It is for our own good. The whole purpose of cutting the wound and taking the pus out is unpleasant, but we have to face it, accept it bravely. I have to cut open the wound to take out the pus. Even unpleasant experiences that we have to bear it smilingly because it is for our own good. So what starts happening when we start observing our breath? We actually start observing our mind. We start to understand the habit pattern of the mind, which is to think about the past or the future, and this leads to agitation and misery. We understand that the mind is thinking of pleasant or unpleasant things, which results in craving or aversion, resulting in agitation and misery. The trick of the technique is to just accept the result readily, smilingly, accept it and bring back the mind to the breath. You come back to the breath, and again, if the mind wanders, you need to bring it back. You just need to accept the fact that the mind has wandered away. That is enough. And slowly, the mind will automatically come back to the breath. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this wisdom sharing session. If anyone has got anything to share, please feel free to unmute yourself and even start your video. Thank you. Yes, Rameshji.
So thanks a lot, Dineshji.
Thank you.
Such a beautiful flow of wisdom about breath. And it only reinforces how important it is that we witness and keep on sitting with the breath, come what may. And the dynamics of our thoughts going to the past and how we revisit the whole story and then going to the future. Those examples are exactly what many of us experienced. So it is very relatable and easy to understand. So thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Thanks to Goenkaji, and thanks to you for rebringing and connecting all to this beautiful wisdom and importance of being with the breath. Very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. And it is, it is Goenkaji's wisdom, and it is something that all of us experience on a daily basis. It's the realization that we get that this is what is actually happening, helps us to then focus back onto the breath. So friends, thank you very much for joining this evening session, and look forward to meeting again next Wednesday, where we will continue with Goenkaji's wisdom on Vipassana. Namaste, everyone.
Can I just come in?
Yes, of course, Dattaji, yes.
Right, yeah. Yes, it was very well explained, and there is some other experience that when you're sitting down, the agitation also starts. Your body starts, either you have some scratching feeling or uncomfortable feeling, and there also, yeah, I think you have to tell yourself this will pass away, just accept. I don't know. That is where I would like your advice.
Yes, you are so right. Yes, Goenkaji used to use the word anitya, anitya. Any experience, whether pleasant or unpleasant, that experience is going to pass away. It is not permanent, and we have to learn to remain equanimous in either pleasant or unpleasant experience. Very, very true. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste, everyone. We'll meet again next Wednesday. Thank you.